Hi, my name is Neb Kamusen Atumre, and this is the third installation of the Black History series CAIN and ABEL, the 9 principles, the third eye. Amunhotep. The great Egyptian master hierophant defined the human as Ka, spirit, Ba, soul, and Chad, body, Mustachadim, servant. And one can readily see that this definition is based on the 3 principles of the triad: triangle, circle, square, Trinity. Ka, spirit, and the Chad body are the basic polarities, and Bazoon, thought, is the relationship between the body and the spirit. Amunhotep was using the Egyptian word Nafush from his own Egyptian teacher, the great hierophant Tehuti, which was taken by the Greeks, who called him Hermes, and became the word psyche, implying the mental and emotional level which we now term mind. Your personable, like a reservoir of mental, the source of thoughts and ideas. All beings share the mental by using their own minds instead of the soul, the emotional you, the feeling you. Speaking, let's see how this definition fits in with Parushad. The chakras. Ether manifests at the ich of the head, and the next chakra to appear in order of density is the 4th center between the eyebrows, the mir, brow, or spiritual seat, which the grand hierophant Amunhotep refers to as the spirit. But which we now call Bazonat, thoughts, being the seat of mental activity also. Next in order is Pashiru, the nasal center of the face, and this, as Amunhotep said, is the breath of life. In essence, because it is the seat of the passage of wind, as in breathing in and out. The leper. The leper has a hard time breathing because of nodular, one of the 2 major effects of the curse of leprosy, Leviticus 13 and 14. Their nasal passages are blocked, hindering them from breathing properly and opening them up for many gland and internal organ diseases when you are forced to breathe through the mouth. The sound of life itself, which is the breath, is the source from which the 4 lower elements, air, fire, water, and earth, are derived. The Tamahu doesn't. The Tamahu doesn't intake the breath properly through their nose, so they are out of tune with nature. Each of these elements, air, fire, water, and earth, are merely a modification of the basic breath, which is linked linked to the Ich, the crown seat, the Akka, ether, so that ether may rightly be regarded as the basic material body and spiritual you by Pashiru, the breath. The four elements Nifu air, set fire, Mu earth and Ta, Mu water and Ta earth, giving us the word Ta, Mu, Nifu set, have their seats respectively in the Ib heart, Ab solar plexus, Techet sacral, and Satecht root chakras. In this way, we see that the higher four and the lower five appears in the human beings strictly in accordance with the numerical laws of manifestation. And the nine ether beings. The nine ether beings. The nine ether beings are not the six ether beings. Not just seven Arushat. Chakras. So the nine ether beings are exactly working these laws. The four lower elements, air, fire, water, and earth, are produced from ether and returns to this etheric foundation or suspension. The more advanced of the Egyptian alchemists also realized that since the various levels of consciousness are merely the life force vibrating at different frequencies, it follows that one level may be transformed into another level merely by changing the rate of vibration, and hence the transformation of one element into another is a perfectly natural possibility. 6 ether force Caucasoids, 7 ether force East Indians, 8 ether force Nubians, 9 ether force Nubians. The first thing that all Nubians and their offspring Nubians must know is that the Caucasoid did not and still don't produce any data on Negroids. Nothing you read about in the medical field apply to the Negroids. It all pertains to the chemical makeup of the Caucasoid bodies. Nothing in the mental field of the psychiatrist pertains to the Negroid. The Caucasoid cannot evaluate our mental stability or try to decipher why we do what we do, because we do not think or feel the way they do. Nor do the Caucasoid know anything about us spiritually. The Caucasoids are carnivorous mammals who are flesh-eating killers by nature. Mongoloids and others are human, also mammals, because they are mixed. Some are carnivores, some are herbivores by nature. And we are deities, herbivores by nature, who are their mothers and fathers. The Caucasoid were all grafted from us and mixed with other beasts to make their beast-like nature. We Negroids all have spiritual levels from 1 to 9. From bacteria as 1 to deity as 9. each trying to overtake the one above, from sickness to war, to race to hatred. All these mentioned are indeed sickness. So the Negroids can be reduced from a god to a human, to a man, to a mammal, to an animal, to a beast. This causes murder, rape, incest, and many different crimes and murders that happen today. Note that most murders which occur worldwide are the most rapists, serial killers, and starters of wars are the Caucasoid race of carnivores. Throughout the world, all lived in peace until the Caucasoid either invaded, migrated, or explored their land and spread his venomous diseases. Out of ignorance, the Caucasoid race form hate groups out of their carnivorous desire to take away from others because they can't or didn't succeed in life. Their very peace is the human beast lying restless inside of them. Speaking, you as Negroids can reduce yourself to his level. The Caucasoid has thinner skin than you, thinner flanker here, lighter eyes with no soul. The Caucasoid try to claim that the only difference between the white man and the black man is the skin color. However, the DNA analysis, which is under your black or white skin, determine that under the skin, the whole structure of the two races are totally different. The Caucasoid breathes differently. Than the Negroids do. We as Negroids breathe through the nose, while the Caucasoid breathes through their mouth. The Caucasoid are trying to intake your breath that you breathe out, because they need it to keep their pilot lunar plexus lit inside to try to relight their inner light, their central light. That's why those that hang around, live with, or marry blacks act and think like blacks. Other Caucasoids walk stiff, while Negroes walk with soul and life. The Caucasoid breed in litters, like animals 6 and 7 at a time, while Negroes give birth to 1 or 2 babies at a time. They here grow lank and lifeless towards the ground, while our hair grows up and is full of energy towards the sun. We as Negroids are physically, mentally, and spiritually different than the Caucasoids. As mentioned earlier, the Caucasoids have 6 cardinal seats. The Hindus have 7 cardinal seats. The mulattoes, the mixed seed, have 8 cardinal seats, and the Nubians, Negroids, have 9 cardinal seats. Thus our bodies vibrate and transform differently than they do. This applies to the transformation of our cardinal vibrations into finer ones. 1 ether force, 2 ether force, 3 ether force, 4 ether force, 5 ether force. The esoteric alchemy dealt with the refinement of human beings' consciousness and how it is attained. That is 9 ether. This process of attainment is known under various names and all true mystics, to all true mystics of whatever religion, all other levels of thought, vibrating spirit, all come down from the ninth level, the God state, to the sixth level, the devil state. In modern times, physicists have noted that matter is thought vibrating at a low frequency. In earlier times, alchemists performed their transformations of one mental into another by using the same principles. In fact, all manifestations is merely the life force working at different rates of vibration, and the difference between one element and another is merely a different frequency of vibration. 9 ether beings vibrating at a lower rate becomes transposed into ether beings. But on the physical level, you vibrate faster, speaking. Even your pigment moves faster, making you darker, and melanin, which also makes your skin darker. And the organs inside you, your very body, are vibrating at different rates. We have outlined, speaking, the way in which the vertical polarity of human beings comes into being along the axis of the spine, with 9 levels of consciousness, which are the head, Ich, from mental or meditating, the brow or the Mir, spirit, for intellect and thinking, the nasal or Shiru, breath, for air, life or breathing, the throat, Sihem, for mucus or protecting, the heart, Hiper, for blood or healing or curing, the diaphragm, Ab, solar plexus or heating, the navel, Techt, for liquids, life or nourishing, the sacral, Techet, for semen, ovum and reproducing, and the carnal, Setecht, soul, emotion or lusting. In addition to this vertical polarity, human beings' constitution also provides a horizontal polarity. These forces are called centripetal and centrifugal forces, which gives a positive and negative polarity to the 2 sides of the body. The human being is really a quadrupolar 4-pole magnet, and all the laws of electricity and magnetism, which are known to modern physics, apply to the human being system. In any system, a potential difference between 2 poles gives rise to a flow between them. All electrical terms, or in electrical terms, this potential difference is a voltage, and the amount of flow between the poles can be measured as a current. Where there is a flow of current, there is always a magnetic field surrounding it and at right angles to it. This law also applies to the system in the human beings. In human beings, there is a voltage and a current between the human being's basic polarity by the Ichram chakra seat and the Setecht root carnal seat or chakra. This flow gives rise to a magnetic field which surrounds the human body. This magnetic field is very often termed the tepi hesp, and is visible to those who are capable of seeing using their third eye. In the beginning, man, not mankind, in the beginning, man was full of insight and exercised a spiritual light that poured out from between his eyes in the area that the elders called the third eye. It is well known by the spiritual healers of old and by the teachers and disciples of the mystery schools of learning. This light was called by many other names: a stream of visual power, a virtue, a vital energy, an invisible antenna, a force from the soul, a vapor of cosmic energy. The Aquarian age is a period of time of the end when the unknown begins to assume its true place in life with its owners. The Aquarian age is when the natural resources of man's inner qualities and abilities, not commonly known, will rise to their full capacity. And the source is the third eye. Now, in the scroll entitled The Science of Healing, The Science of Healing, on page 97, we read the third eye is found as a symbol in paintings, statue, and other art form. Egyptian warbs, priests, and Aferti, pharaohs, wore it being symbolized by the upraised serpent on their foreheads. On their foreheads. It was symbolic of the third eye being opened. Are you listening, people? The serpent was a mistakable representation of the seed of light through which the third eye is the source. You may have heard the symbol of the serpent called Kundalini. Kund meaning to burn, Kunda means a coil or spiral. It is a Sanskrit word. In India, the seers and sages were called Nagas, meaning the wise serpents. But Matthew 10:16 says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." The third eye is represented on the back of the dollar bill. With the pyramid. The source of mysteries. In the actual pyramid, the capstone does not exist. It was purposely never constructed. The fact that it was omitted was symbolic of the physical invisibility of the spirit. The Indians recognized the aware ability of man and symbolized the third eye in the headband. The headdress was symbolic of the aura of man. The headdress was worn especially during religious ceremonies. The Buddhists recognized the third eye by placing a jewel in the center of the forehead. In Hindu, it is called the Eye of Shiva. It was the center point through which the attributes of Shiva were expressed. Shiva is the deity of both construction and destruction, unquote. Do you follow, people? Nubians already have the upraised serpent as the symbol of the third eye. Jewels and red dots are Buddhists and Hindu customs, traditions, and symbols. First, in retrospect, the Nubian language and script was slowly transformed into a Hindu language and script. Then, by a slow progression, and as seen in the recent portraits of Nabab's mustache has been depicted as being curled upwards, which is a custom and a tradition of the Hindu Sikhs, as opposed to the Midianite style beard and mustache which the angel Melchizedek brought to us as Ansars. Are you listening, people? Nabab is also depicted as wearing a big old red jewel in the area of the third eye. And added to that, Nubian males have been seen proudly posting themselves on Facebook wearing colorful saris at their last Nuwauba ball as sashes. A sari is a Hindu female attire. Google sari and see for yourselves. You brothers are being ridiculed and made the laughing stock of the Milky Way, the 18th galaxy, by these hateful female messengers, Hilal's messengers. On page 596 of the degree of Mohammedism, the angel Melchizedek forewarns us: be ever ready to question anybody about what they attempt to teach and preach to you. Do not be intimidated by any force or authority. Stand for what you think is right. Don't stand in the background. Be heard, be seen, be felt, be one to be reckoned with, be one to be dealt with. Don't tolerate, don't settle, make things happen. Be the life and light of your environment, unquote. Holy Tablets, chapter 6, tablet 4. verses 167 through 171 informs us, and I quote, "And behold, Melchizedek will be the head of the 24 elders who existed before. And afterwards, in the last generation, like now, there will be another Melchizedek, the first of the 12 elders, and the last will be the head of all, a great archpriest, the word and power of Anu, who will perform miracles greater and more glorious than all the previous ones. He, Melchizedek, will be the priest and king of, in the place of CAIN, also called Agartha and Shambhala. That is to say, in the center of the earth where Kadmon's birth plan was created. And there will be his final grave. In connection with the archpriest, it is written how he also will be buried there, where the center of the earth is, just as Kadmon also buried his own son Abel. Also called Abel there, whom his brother CAIN murdered, unquote. So Melchizedek, Dr. Malachi Ziyok, the word and power of Anu, Allah Ma'ana, Allah with us, is in Shambhala. For he, being the power of Anu, then to us, he is the closest we will ever get to Anu in our present lowly state. And that is sound right reasoning. Holy Tablets chapter 4. Tablet 4, verses 95 through 109 states, we are enlightened by these verses. Mordecai made his voice heard and spoke, addressed his words to the Annunaki, his fathers. Over, he said, over the Apsu, the sea green dwelling, in front of the inner world, Ishara, where I created for you, which I